For a long time, the general public in England knew nothing about Irish history. Because British politicians avoided discussing Irish affairs, the media didn't report on them, and pupils did not learn about them in schools. The journalists covering the events of the Troubles were often shocked by what they found out in Northern Ireland. Peter Taylor, a British journalist with a Cambridge University degree, spent decades covering Northern Ireland. He admitted that he was completely unaware of the situation when he first visited in 1972 to report on Bloody Sunday. He was shocked by what happened and concerned to understand the historical forces that drove the various parties to the conflict to act, and they did. When Irish journalist Fergal Keane was posted to Northern Ireland, he said he started reading books. The world that had seemed so simple from the other side of the border turned out to be a very complicated place. John Hostetler, an English human rights lawyer, was also extremely disturbed by what he witnessed in Northern Ireland for the first time in the 1950s. A strange sight to English eyes is that of men of the Royal Ulster Constabulary carrying truncheons and revolvers at all times, and sometimes Sten guns. This is the outward sign of extensive police powers that are quite startling. He had always thought he understood what was happening, but seeing it firsthand made him realize the situation was much worse than he had imagined. That experience led him to advocate for the civil rights movement, which fought against the harsh police powers and laws against Catholics in Northern Ireland. He was shocked by how the defense had to argue that the police had acted unlawfully, and the people of Northern Ireland seemed to accept this as normal. It felt like being in a place under oppressive rule where the truth was being suppressed. Though I was already long aware of Britain's imperialist record in Ireland, it was only when I attended the murder trial of Mallon and Talbot in 1958 that I began seriously to think of the implications of the Northern Ireland situation for the English people. What surprised me beyond measure was the unreal atmosphere of a place where nobody thought it the slightest bit odd that accused persons should accuse the police in this way. And they were surprised only that the defense managed to convince a jury, virtually selected by the prosecution, that the prosecution must fail. It was like being in some colonial country under a tyranny all truth about which was suppressed.